engineering firm, GPI, as well as a City of Kingston representative. So we welcome and encourage, after the mayor is done speaking, for you to visit those tables. While you're there, you're welcome to ask questions. If you're a member of the media and you have questions, please come and see me, and we can make sure we get those questions answered. And finally, it's my honor to welcome and invite and introduce the Mayor Steve Noble.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking the opportunity out of your day to come here to City Hall to be able to learn about this really exciting project. And before I get started, I did want to introduce the project manager, Kristen Wilson. Kristen is just going to also be here today for anyone that speaks Spanish. And so do you want to?
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm really excited. Oh, yes, thank you. I'm really excited to be administering this project for the City of Kingston. It's been exciting to be writing grants and working with the engineers on the design of the project. And then I also just want to say in Spanish that if there's anybody here in Spanish, they're welcome to visit me at the table over here on this side of the room, and I'll be able to answer questions in Spanish. Voy a decir esto en español también. Soy la administradora del proyecto de Broadway, y si tienen preguntas en español o prefieren hablar en español, pueden venir a hablar conmigo en esta mesa en este lado de los cuartos. Muchas gracias.
Thank you. All right. So, as Megan mentioned, I'm just going to start out today by just giving an opportunity that was provided to us by the Ulster County Transportation Council to be able to help us re-envision Broadway, to be able to help improve the safety of the corridor, improve the availability for pedestrian amenities along the Broadway corridor, to increase the accessibility of the Broadway corridor, and to really be able to help traffic flow more smoothly along the corridor. Through that study came this project to be able to build a new Broadway, one that meets all of those needs, and one that we as a community can feel really proud of when we're done. This has been a relatively large effort. It's a multi-million-dollar project. Right now, the estimated budget for this project is about $5.5 million. Much of that has been received in grant funding to date. Just a few months ago, in late 2016, we received another $2.2 million to be able to reach that goal, which is very exciting because we're going to be able to. And as I'll discuss in a minute, it will allow us to not only create a project that meets the needs of our residents, but it will also help protect the environment and reduce the amount of stormwater produced in our community. So briefly, before we get started, one of the things that's really important for everybody to make sure that they pick up if they haven't already is one of these really handy-dandy brochures. So even if you forget everything that I said today, you can pick up one of these brochures and it will give you a quick glimpse of this project. For me, what's really exciting about this project is that this is the largest investment the City of Kingston will have made in the Midtown corridor since 2001, which was the last phase of the most recent Broadway improvements, where one part of Broadway had a sidewalk replacement. Previous to that, the last infrastructure investment was in the late 80s. So right now, we're looking at decades of neglect along the Broadway corridor, where we weren't able to invest in safety, we weren't able to invest in a new streetscape to improve the economic vitality of our community. And so we now have that opportunity. And so for me, the #1 goal of this project is safety. What we're going to explain and show you today is by taking a road that cuts through the middle of the heart of our city from 4 lanes down to 3 lanes, we are going to be able to improve the safety of our neighborhood. We're going to be able to improve the safety of pedestrians that are crossing Broadway. It will allow us to bring together kind of Midtown East and Midtown West and not have a 4-lane, what sometimes can feel like a highway piercing through our city. But yet we are going to be creating an atmosphere for folks to be able to move more easily and more safely about. And so that, for me, is our #1 priority. And that's why, by taking our number of travel lanes from 4 down to 2, 1 in each direction thoroughfares with a turning lane in the middle, not only do we believe it's safe, the traffic science backs it up. And when you look at the traffic safety counts and the traffic accidents and the pedestrian injuries, you know, Midtown Broadway is our hotspot in Kingston. Just a few months ago, the police department released that we are doing increased enforcement on a 3-block radius on Broadway because 11% of all of our traffic accidents in the entire city happen in a 2-block radius on Broadway, generally near the Sunoco station by Franklin Street. In that 2 or 2.5 block radius, 11% of all traffic accidents in the last year were in that stretch. And so for us, that's serious. And that is why we all sprung into action. It's why we all wanted to go ahead and create a safer atmosphere. But it's not just going to be for people that are driving cars. You know, while it will reduce the number of left-hand turn and right-hand turn crashes that are related to crossing that many lanes on Broadway, it's also going to improve our pedestrian safety by installing up-to-date new pedestrian crossing devices. We will not have as many people running across the road that we do today because we have now functioning lights that don't trigger appropriately, that don't know a pedestrian is waiting. We'll now be able to have new ADA accessible lighting that will allow our individuals to more easily cross Broadway and feel much safer about it, which is also going to reduce the pedestrian accidents that we have had along the Broadway corridor. So that is a really exciting part of this project. You know, another thing that, of course, we all love as motorists is that we don't love the fact of sitting in traffic. No matter where the traffic is, no one likes sitting in traffic. It's bad for the environment because our cars are idling and we're producing more greenhouse gas emissions. It's bad for, you know, our productivity because we're sitting in traffic when we don't need to be. And so this design and this project is going to allow us to be able to move through the Broadway corridor at a lower speed, so lower than what we're doing today, because what we're doing today is we are racing from light to light to light to try to beat the next one and to get through the traffic faster, and so we're going faster. So we are going to be reducing those speeds, but because of the synchronization of the traffic signals that this project is going to be able to allow us to do, we are going to be able to move traffic more efficiently through the Broadway corridor, and we will get a double-digit, at least 13% reduction in the time it takes for someone to move through the Broadway corridor. And so that's exciting because that is our time that we're getting back. And what's important to recognize, though, it's not just because people are going 40 miles an hour now and blowing through Midtown and forgetting about all of the restaurants and shops and stores, but they're going to be able to do so more efficiently and at speeds that are between 20 and 25 miles per hour instead of the 30 and 35 that we're kind of seeing today out there, which we believe is going to help the city, it's going to help our community, and it's going to help the economic vitality of Midtown. Now, by creating this new traffic pattern and being able to make all of those improvements, it's also going to allow us to have some more space on Broadway. And so not only are we going to be able to put in new street trees and be able to put in new benches and bike racks, we're also going to be able to have 2 full lanes of parking on both sides of the street. So what you see today in terms of having cars parked on both sides is still going to happen with this plan, the entire stretch. And for this project, that's from Grand Street all the way up to St. James Street. So that is our project area where we're going to be making the most significant improvements. And we're going to be able to then, with that space, be able to put in a bike lane, which will allow us to be able to move pedestrians and bicyclists much easier through this relatively busy, congested corridor in a way that is much more safe. And so, as you will see in the brochure and as you will see in the panels, if we were to go ahead and stand at UPAC today, we would have parked cars, we would have a lane of traffic, we would have a turning lane, another lane of traffic, parked cars, and a bike lane, and then the sidewalk. That's how we envision the Broadway corridor. That's what you will see on the diagrams as you move across the room. That's what you'll see in your packet today. And that, we believe, is going to really impact the way that people can be connected from uptown to midtown to downtown, and also be able to tie us into all of our rail trail networks that both we and the county are working to build in the city of Kingston and elsewhere. And Broadway can play a really critical link in this. And we feel like this is a great opportunity to do that. I talked earlier about this most recent influx of grant money that this project has been able to receive. And one of the exciting parts of this project that was a recent addition is with this over $2 million in grant funding that we received, we're not going to just put in trees. We are going to be able to put in landscaping that is beautiful, that includes an opportunity for us to drain the stormwater from the neighborhood back into the earth, not into our sewer systems, not into our collection systems, which is going to reduce our costs at our wastewater treatment plant, reduce the amount of stormwater that goes, uncleaned into the Roundout Creek. It's going to allow us to take this and put it back where it falls. And that's exciting. It's good for the environment, but it's also really great for us to be able to open up our city. When you drive into Kingston, you're not just going to see bricks and mortar anymore. You're going to see a beautiful, welcoming entrance to a historic city. And I think that that's another critical point of this, is that it's going to change the way people feel about their neighborhood. For many years, Midtown, as I mentioned, has gone neglected. And this is an opportunity for us to invest public funds that we've received and take the feeling that we all know about Kingston, because many of us live on tree-lined streets and have access to green space. There is very little or no green space in Midtown, and I believe that we can create this type of pedestrian green space in the heart of our city and do it while we're making all of these other improvements, which is exciting, and it's cutting edge, it's innovative, and it's the type of project that we want our kids to be able to see come to fruition. And what I also am happy to say is that this is all not pie in the sky. We're here today to present to you the final design, to be able to get your feedback over the last month, to be able to figure out how can we fine-tune what we're going to do. But this project is going to construction in 2018, and that's exciting. This project, tied to the work that the Department of Transportation is going to be doing to improve the 587 interchange, is going to tie in really well, because that project is scheduled for 2019. And so we literally are going to see a complete transformation about what our community looks and feels like when we come into this city. And so for that, it's important for you to stay involved and get involved and be able to be a part of this plan. So not only have we presented this in the past in some of our preliminary designs, we're presenting it to you today, but I also brought it to my staff. I showed it to my fire chief and said, what do you think of this? Will this work for you? Will your fire trucks fit? And we got his okay. We had made some changes to the design, which we did. Same thing with the police department. What type of lighting do you need to see on Broadway to be able to help your department be able to better meet its needs? And so we got their okay. We worked with the Public Works Department to see, will you be able to maintain this street exactly like you do now? Yes, we will. We won't need to make any changes to the way we manage or, you know, we don't need to buy new equipment to maintain Broadway in the winter. And so that we got here okay. You know, we also had the opportunity to go ahead and make sure that, you know, throughout this process that we have had an open dialogue with the business owners. And, you know, this project started many years ago, and when it did get started, there was a lot of concerns about how this project could impact businesses. And we have tried to take those into consideration. We hope that what you see here today will be a good representation of that because we have heard and we have listened, and we're really excited to be able to take it to the next steps. But again, we need your help. And so today, that's what we're here to be. I'm pretty sure I think I covered everything. Oh, the one last exciting piece of this, and the thing that you're not going to see necessarily pulled out of your brochure, but as motorists, what we all love to see is that, you know, it's great to be able to go ahead and put in new sidewalks. It's great to be able to put in all new signals. It's great to be able to put in all of these, you know, bio-retention areas for stormwater. We're going to put in this bike lane, which is great. But, you know, we're also going to pave Broadway. So for the next 15 years, we have a street that is in good condition, that can manage all of the traffic. Because if you've driven under the underpass, like I have recently, you feel like you're in a back road somewhere up the Catskills because it's rough. And, you know, so this project incorporates a full curb-to-curb repavement of the entire Broadway section, from St. James all the way to Grand Street. One of the things that we also will mention before I close is that that is our prime construction area. That is where we are doing all of our sidewalk work, our street tree planting work, but we are also looking at and working to improve the signals at the intersections of Pine Grove, at the intersection of Foxhall, Eastchester. Those lights will also be synchronized with the rest of Broadway. And while we currently don't have the funds to put in, you know, additional street amenities like benches or bike racks or, you know, street trees, those are going to be further additions that we will be able to have in the future with our own funds or with other grants that we have. But so for now, we are focused on the Grand Street to St. James, and which is the entire length of what many of us call the Midtown Business District area. And so that is the project in a nutshell. At this point, I would like to go ahead and encourage everyone to visit at the different tables, learn about the project, fill out a comment sheet before you leave, take a comment sheet with you, and really help spread the word about this project. If you know folks that you think would be interested in this project and are available to spread the word today, we will be having another session this evening at 6 p.m. here to do this whole thing all over again. And so it's not too late to get people involved even today. So again, I want to thank you all for coming, and please go learn more specifics, have your questions answered, and please let us know what you think. Thank you.